Hi guys, so today we're discussing an interesting topic, which is indicators. Do they work, and if they do, which ones should you use? So the simple answer is some work and some don't, but you should know which ones to avoid and which ones you can use, which I've seen, and the problems with the ones that do work, because there's also still problems, they're not perfect. So you'll find that beginners tend to abuse indicators in the beginning, and it's because of a lack of consistent strategy, and they use it as a crush. And so they think that indicators, they tend to work in the first few days when you use them. They tend to work, so you tend to rely on them in the beginning. Like all of us, I obviously relied on them. But sometimes it can get out of hand when you have like four indicators on your charts. And if you want to avoid a situation like that, you only need one. So indicators aren't enough. That's the first thing, which is that you need other confluences to help you. Even though we're going to pick the ones that do work, an indicator alone is not enough. You need other confluences to confirm your bias. So if you have a buy or sell bias, you want to make sure you have other confluences like a rising wedge, a falling wedge, momentum, fundamentals, um, volume, something else to confirm your strategy, whatever it is, something else to confirm on top of the ones we've picked. So brokers, the ones they present you with, the indicators they present you with, they don't work. A lot of them don't work. MACD and all of that, you can't use it consistently. And they do that obviously because the same thing with I've discussed the pairs they give you on the front page, that you should avoid those liquid pairs. Same thing with the indicators, you should avoid the the indicators they give you on the front page. A lot of them do not work. They work for the first few days, and then after that they don't work, and it's just because of a conflict of interest. They benefit from your losses, so you giving you indicators that work isn't a part of their business strategy, I'm sure. So the ones that do work are momentum indicators. So your RSI, your TDI, your MACD, your moving averages. But important to note is that you shouldn't use the moving averages as a strategy. I remember having a discussion with someone, in fact, and I remember he used the moving average strategy. And I remember saying it's a terrible strategy. It works in the first few days or weeks, and then after that, it's just useless because it's based on past data, and past data alone doesn't tell us what's going to happen in the future. So I'm going to tell you how to use the moving averages, but never use it as a strategy. It's the same thing with support and resistance. You never use it as a strategy. So the candlestick trading Bible is where I got these specific indicators, the moving average indicators. So the 8 moving average is the one I use on the 1 hour to set my stop loss and to keep pulling the stop loss up. I use the 8 moving average. And then to enter, I go to the 5 minute chart. And then when the 8 moving average crosses the 21 moving average, is when you should place your entry, where at least where I place my entry. And then Dr. Paul, I forgot his name, Dr. Paul, I forgot his name. David, yes, Dr. David Paul, I think is his name. He talked about the 89 moving average. And so I use that on the 4 hour to determine whether we are currently in an uptrend or a downtrend. That's influenced by him purely. And then the 200 is also used to determine whether there's a long-term trend, especially on the lower time frames. If you use the 200 moving average on the 15, a lot of the times you can use the 200 moving average as your take profit, which is what I usually use it for. I use the 8 moving average for my stop loss and the 200 for my take profit on the 15 or the 1 hour. Custom indicators do work. I've seen like engineers make like really nice custom indicators, and like really good ones. I've seen them make ones that tell you the most common support and resistance areas if that's your strategy. I've seen ones that tell you where all the brokers are, where all the retailers are setting their stop losses, because that's where the hunting happens. I've seen them they have those kind of indicators which tell you the common stop loss so you can avoid stop hunts. I've seen ones that can draw patterns for you. They draw rising wedges, falling wedges, head and shoulders, everything. So there's some really good indicators, and they're all free. I've shown some of the websites that engineers make these indicators for free, and then obviously educators sell them to you. And I don't think you should ever buy them, which leads me to point 10. You should never buy indicators from someone, especially SA traders. They, a lot of them, they sell you like they'll tell you, I created this indicator, it's costing 3,000, 5,000. honestly, if you don't know how to code, it's unlikely that you made an indicator. And if you did, the person who made the indicator, maybe he has an engineering background, um, made that indicator, not you. But anyways, every single indicator you can think of, they're on the free websites. They're for free. Engineers make them for free. You shouldn't be paying for them. Engineers who make them don't make you pay for them. The TDI indicator is for free. You can download it for free. Which brings me to the point of weaknesses of the ones that work. So the momentum indicators, although they work, a lot of them are either lagging or a lot of them are too forward. So if they're lagging, it's because they're based on past data. So moving averages and RSI tend to be based on past data. That's how they calculate those lines. It's using past data. So a lot of the times you will get in too late because of not too late, but you'll be late. It's not something which is you should worry about. But especially if you're on the higher time frames, it can be a bit late. But on the lower time frames, I think you'll be fine. Those are the lagging ones. And then the ones that are too forward are more exponential sensitive indicators, which are based on present data that happen in the moment. They take very little account of past data. So like the TDI indicator and the RSI indicator, if you use them, you'll find that a lot of the times you'll get in too early, you'll get into false breakouts, which is stuff you can still avoid. Like there's small tweaks you can make, like crossing over of the lines and things like that. You can avoid early entries. Or what you can do is if you find that you are about to enter, stop and give yourself an hour's delay and say, I'm not going to enter until an hour has passed because I'm early. You'll be watching, but you'll still know that you're early, so you give yourself an hour's break, and you're like, I know I'm watching this, but I'm gonna give myself an hour to just sort of see what's happening, so I avoid early breaks, and that I avoid false entries.